we're able to share and pen.
What is your American dream?
I'm from Chicago, my parents are from the Philippines, and my American dream is to have world peace. I think that it all starts with teaching each other how to love one another, and that will set the path for a positive future.
I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. My American dream is peace on earth.
I was born in Moscow. My American dream is I really want to get good education and I want to do my favorite things in the future.
I was born in New Jersey. My American dream is to hit the mega millions so I can take care of my family, my friends, and myself.
I'm from Belgium. My American dream would be that between youth people we have deep conversation about our faith, about how we see life and how we can live together.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Hey guys, just getting some water at the water cooler. So, we have a special guest co-host on the show today. So, I'll give you a hint who it is. He's tall, dark, and handsome. Still don't know? Okay, I'll give you another hint. He's a kick-butt criminal defense attorney. Still not enough? Hold on. I'll give you a better hint. See him? See him? You see him? You see him? You see him? That's him. David Moreno! David Moreno is our special guest co-host today. Let's watch!
All right, welcome everybody. Brad Show Live. It is, what is today? Wednesday, February 28th. I am losing my voice. So because I am losing my voice and because he is a handsome man, a very smart, intelligent man, I've invited David Moreno to come on and talk for me for a little bit. David Moreno is a fantastic criminal defense attorney, former outstanding basketball star at Long Island University, former, more importantly, district attorney in Manhattan. He was awarded one of the top 100 trial litigators in America, one of the top 40 black attorneys in America, one of the top 40 attorneys under 40 in America. The awards go on and on and on and on. We are happy, we are proud, we are actually honored that he's part of the Spar and Bernstein team here. He's doing a fabulous job with our criminal defense department, and we're welcoming him today. Boy, I can't even talk today.
Yeah, man, you're losing your voice.
I'm losing my voice. Welcoming him today as our guest host today to join me here. So, what's happening, David?
Well, thanks for having me, first off. There's a lot happening in our world. I'm really excited to be here and to give my input, to join alongside Brad Bernstein. We're helping out a lot of folks in criminal defense here, resolving a lot of cases. Thankfully for our clients, things are going, quite well right now.
So for everybody out there, please do us a favor right now. We always do this at the beginning of our show. I think I have to move over. I'm a little out of the picture.
Come closer to me, Brad.
Now I'm better. It's fine. It's fine. We remind everybody right now to do two things. Number one, please share this with your friends and family. If you don't share this feed with your friends and family, then we can't get the word out to everybody out there that we're here to help people. We're here to have some fun as well, entertain people, inform people, give people some good advice, and help everybody to achieve their American dream. And number two, for everybody out there, please like and follow the official Brad Show Live page. If you don't like and follow that page, you will not be notified when we come live. We're having a little late start today, a little technical difficulty with the TriCaster, but nothing that the cracked staff over in the control room couldn't handle. So with that, the telephone number to call is 1-800-529-5465, 1-800-529-5465. The team at the call center, led by Fiona, has told me that the lines are open. We have 2 people on hold. Telephone number to call, 1-800-529-5465. By the way, Tamika Nelson says, "Hey, David," and Malia Lobin Martin is not saying hello to David. They're saying hello. She's saying hello to Sam, the groundhog. Sam has taken over. This show. So the telephone number to call, 1-800-529-5465, 1-800-529-5465. In the news today, while we're waiting for people to call in, Mr. Moreno, I had read a couple of things. Number one, there was a guy by the name of Mohammed Monir Hassan. Their ICE is picking everybody up right now. They're picking people up. If you saw the show yesterday in Oakland, they picked up over 150 people in Northern California over this past weekend. Even here in New York City, which is a sanctuary city, ICE is picking people up. And now, based on what the Supreme Court decided yesterday, you do not have a right to get out of jail if ICE is holding you for more than 6 months. That was a right that you had up until yesterday.
Wow.
Yesterday, the Supreme Court said, under the Immigration and Nationality Act, you don't have a right. It's nothing written in that law that says that you have a right to get out of jail, out of civil detention. It's not criminal detention. Mm-hmm. You're a criminal defense attorney. Out of civil detention, because Congress never said it anywhere in the law. And what they said was, we're going to send it back down, this case down to the Ninth Circuit in California. And the Ninth Circuit, we want the Ninth Circuit to have a discussion about the constitutionality that Congress never put anything in the law.
So are they holding there's no due process for non-citizens?
So they're saying there is no due process for non-U.S. citizens until the Ninth Circuit decides whether the Constitution says there should be. And then once the Ninth Circuit decides that, it goes back to the Supreme Court, who will then decide whether the Ninth Circuit is right or not. What that means for people who get arrested by ICE, and there they are, the group that is basically jailing people that I would think illegally, that entire group.
Wow.
But for 3 judges who voted, Sotomayor, Ginsburg, and
Sonia Sotomayor is an alumnus of my old office.
Yes, yeah. Right.
My bureau as well. My trial bureau.
Right. One recused herself, who argued the case, which was Kagan, and it wasn't Neil Gorish. There was I forgot the name of the judge who wrote the dissenting opinion. We talked about it yesterday. Just lost my mind in a second. Yeah, Breyer. That was it. Breyer. He wrote the dissenting opinion, but basically 5 judges on that Supreme Court, all appointed either by Trump or by Bush, all came out and said, you don't have civil rights for the next year. And it's just mind-boggling. So we were just, I was just talking to Emily, who's one of our
great immigration
attorneys, and she says, I just was in jail 3 days ago and told this guy, we're going into federal court. You have a right to be released after 6 months if immigration is not going to deport you. And she said, and then the next day the Supreme Court came down with this decision, and now I have to go back and tell him, because of this, he's now going to sit in jail for over a year while we're fighting out his deportation case.
So what does this mean for everyone, Brad?
What this means is you have to be extraordinarily careful. If you are living here with an order of deportation, I can't even begin to tell you how careful you have to be, and more importantly, that you should be getting legal advice immediately. We just read in the newspaper today talking about violation of your rights. Mohammed Monir Hassan, this was just in the newspapers today. He had an order of deportation. Here's the guy. And he had an order of deportation based on the fact that he had a driving under the influence in 2006.
Only conviction, right?
Only conviction ever. He was ordered deported. He's going through cancer treatments right now.
Wow.
He was not expecting to be picked up by ICE. Usually when you were having these check-ins, what Obama was doing was that if you had some sort of medical issues, they were not holding you, they were not detaining you, they were allowing you to deal with your medical
sounds
issues.
ethical.
Right.
Makes sense.
Especially if you were coming from countries that may not have the same medical care that we have, that we're lucky to have here
Absolutely.
in the United States of America. So I assume that's what was happening, because he's had this order of deportation for a long time, and he's going through his cancer treatments, and he checked in to ICE, and ICE picked him up and detained him
At a normal schedule.
normal schedule. But what Obama was doing was saying, okay, you're going through cancer treatments. We're not going to arrest you. We're not going to deprive you of your cancer treatments. We're not going to let you die in jail. But I said, screw it, because under Trump, it's a completely different story. And they picked the guy up. He's been in jail for a month. He's been deprived of cancer treatment for a month. Now, even if they start giving it to him now, they're killing the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no doctor, but I know that if you don't deal with cancer when you're supposed to deal with it, cancer doesn't stop because you're in ICE detention.
Cancer spreads.
It spreads, exactly. They're literally killing the guy. So they're now making a petition to have him released, but he's been in jail for 1 month without cancer treatment. And that was in the newspaper today. Wow. I read here, since his detention, Hassan has been bounced from a detention center in Tennessee to one in Texas, Hawaii, New Jersey, and then back to Texas, while his family, while his family fights in federal court for his release and pursues a petition for asylum. He was getting deported back to Bangladesh, which presumably doesn't have the same cancer treatments that they would have here in the United States.
So what legitimate reason does ICE have to move this man all across the country?
They move him to wherever there's a bed.
Correct.
So ICE, there's 20 beds open in New Jersey. There's no beds open in California because they just arrested 150 people. They gotta find a bed for this guy. They don't gotta find a doctor for him, but they gotta find a bed for him.
Because they're crowded in these jails.
Correct. So they move people around. And now ICE says, well, if the family didn't make his petition in federal court, he would already be back in Bangladesh. He can get his cancer treatment in Bangladesh.
Oh, yeah, what treatment will he get
What
there?
treatment is he getting in Bangladesh? And you're separating him from his family because of one DUI.
And I'm sure this man has a family.
Correct.
Right? Children.
Correct. So for everybody out there, you have to be so careful. That's what's happening today with ICE. It's so important to have good attorneys. More importantly, and you can talk about this because this guy had a DUI.
Okay.
You know what the best way to avoid getting deported? Don't be found guilty of a criminal offense in the first place.
So I actually can put this into perspective. It's ironic with the change in the law this week. Just last week, we had a client who had an old conviction from 1992. And it was a drug-related offense. And he hired us. He came in, and we filed a 440 motion for this client. And the motion was granted, and he was due to go back in court to have his plea vacated, have his life potentially changed for the better.
Right.
He didn't have status. He would now be eligible to apply for status. I'm no Brad Bernstein, but I understand that much of immigration law.
Right.
And this man who was crying in my office 2 months ago when we found out the decision was so excited, had his wife called me because he was so scared to go to court in Brooklyn after the news came out that they were arresting folks in this sanctuary city, and wanted to know what would happen to him if we went to court. And I told him, let me reach out to the prosecutor and make sure there's no funny business going on in this case. And thankfully in our situation, there was nothing strange going on. His vacation went through, his plea was vacated, and now he no longer has a criminal record in New York.
So when you go to vacate a plea, okay, I guess there's multiple things. This guy should not have pled guilty to this in the first place, which is what caused him to have his problem. But the best way, people come back and try to vacate after the fact, and it was a fantastic job. And you touch on a whole bunch of situations. One is just because you're in a sanctuary city, and we'll talk about that in a section. Sanctuary city means that the local police are not going to touch you. It doesn't mean the federal police, ICE, are not going to touch you.
Yeah.
But more importantly, this guy wouldn't have had a problem to begin with. We went back and basically redid his case, reopened. Vacating a plea is reopening the case because there was some constitutional issue, some unfairness that happened in his particular case that is just so fundamentally unfair that the results are absurd, which in this particular case that this guy would get deported for what amounted to be a minor crime. So David Moreno, fantastic criminal defense attorney, was able to vacate his conviction. He's now no longer under any suspicion of deportation. But the real moral of the story is there's so many people who are pleading guilty to crimes just to get to finish the case without figuring out or thinking about what the consequences are, especially with immigration. I mean, look at this guy with the DUI.
Yeah, with the DUI, we don't know what the facts were in that situation, but a DUI, a murder, drug possession, there's a defense for every case. There are different levels to them. There are great defenses, there are strong defenses, there are weak defenses. But folks out there, especially non-citizens, should not be pleading guilty to a crime unless they've thoroughly discussed it with an attorney first and they're fully aware of what the consequences will be in the future, specifically pertaining to the immigration status, especially in the climate we're in right now with the presidents we have right now. The stakes are a lot higher for non-citizens.
By the way, I love this because we got right into the law. Usually I'm just screwing around for the first 15 minutes waiting for people
I'm sorry
to call.
to make the show more serious.
We got right into the law here. And by the way, the telephone number to call is 1-800-529-5465. And yeah, if someone could get me some lemon and tea, that would be helpful. If not, I'll live till 7:30. You know what also we saw in the news today? First of all, you know, I don't like to talk about politics. I always say the show's not about politics.
Of course.
And then Jill always goes, but you always talk about politics. Hope Hicks, who is like that model-esque woman who is the spokeswoman for Donald Trump, she lasted 4 months. She's resigning. One day after she got grilled by the Russian investigators in the congressional investigation. More importantly, we saw today that a teacher in Georgia who was legally allowed to have a gun, his name was Jesse Randall Davidson, 53. He taught social studies in a classroom in, I don't know where in Georgia this was, but somewhere in Dalton, Georgia, wherever. I don't know where Dalton, Georgia is. If someone can tell me where Dalton, Georgia is, if it's near Atlanta, if it's near the coast, I'm not exactly sure where Dalton, Georgia is, but he was legally allowed to have a gun. And he started shooting. And the teacher, right after Donald Trump, the NRA said the solution to school violence is armed teachers who will then shoot the bad people. Who's to say that the teachers are mentally stable or know how to use a gun? And here we are 3 days later after this whole entire debate. And this guy's shooting up a classroom. One person got hurt, breaking his leg, trying to run from the teacher.
Was this person a student?
And it's Dalton is 90 miles from Atlanta, Jill. Jill with all the information in my ear.
Hitting us with the facts.
Hitting us with the facts.
You know, you look at things that happen, you know, in schools, and I've seen viral videos of teachers, you know, choking students or slamming students, losing their tempers. Teachers are human just like everyone else, right? There's no logical reason for a teacher to have a gun in a school. That's not the solution. Clearly in this situation, this man was incited by the words of the NRA, incited by the words of our president. I mean, I hate to go there, but there's, you know, if you look at the news with what's going on with a lot of teachers and, you know, inappropriate relationships with students, if there are some teachers that can be trusted not to break that barrier, why do you think we should trust teachers, to be armed at this time?
I don't think teachers should be. Teachers are teaching.
Correct.
Okay,
and that's their
and
role.
Law enforcement should be doing law enforcement, and guns should be out of the hands of people generally. That's my opinion. And I think, I don't know where the studies are, but the facts are that I've seen it time and time again. I don't have the statistics right in front of me, but the facts are the facts, which are places that have stricter gun control have less gun violence.
Yeah.
It is a fact.
I mean, this country is leading the way every year.
All right, so what else is happening in the world before we get to our telephone calls? By the way, please call. We're going to be taking your immigration calls at 1-800-529-5465 in about 3 minutes. So please call. I know Lamore has been on hold for a little bit, as well as Sophia,
George,
and Nakia. We're going to look forward to hearing from all of them. In 2020 Tokyo Olympics mascots have been unveiled. It is very exciting. Did we get the groundhog in there or what? It is very, I don't know. It's very exciting. I don't think the groundhog made it. But the Olympic mascot is a character that embodies both old tradition and new. Do we have pictures of the new mascots? we have pictures of the mascots. That is not the picture. That is Sam the groundhog.
Look at Sam.
I got robbed.
Right, you got robbed. Is that Sam the groundhog?
Is Sam on the beach right now?
That is not the Sam. You were not in the running. You did not get robbed.
I'm way cuter and cooler than those guys.
You did not. Those are the mascots. I think Sam is much cuter. Let's put stop mascots. Sam, mascot Sam. Let's go back and forth and let the Brad squad decide.
Thank you.
Let the Brad squad decide who we like better. Sam, Tokyo mascots. Sam, let's see Sam again. Tokyo mascots. We're gonna let everybody vote. We'll let you know at the end, Sam. All right,
Thank you, Brad.
all right. Let's go to our immigration calls, David.
Let's do it.
All right, 1-800-529-5465. Lamar from Queens. Lamar,
Hello.
what's happening?
Yes, good evening. My name is Lamar Smith. Okay, what I was calling to ask about, being I'm not a citizen, I have a baby father who doesn't give my child anything from since she was born. She's in Jamaica, but she's coming back up soon, within 3 months' time, because her mother can't manage no more, and I really need maintenance for her. Will I be in trouble if I take him to the court?
Okay, so you have a child that is right now in another country who's coming up to the United States in 3 months.
Yeah, she was born here.
She was born here. She's a U.S. citizen. Okay,
Yes.
what is your status here?
I'm
No status.
not a resident,
Okay.
no.
All right. So this child goes back and forth and has a U.S. passport and presumably can come back. Where is the father of this child?
He's here.
He's here.
He's
okay.
a citizen.
Yeah, you will not get in trouble if you go into family court. You live in Queens. You go into family court in Queens. You will not get in trouble. You have the right to bring a family court petition against him for child support. But you have to wait for that child to be here, and the child has to be.
Yes,
the child has
that's
to
what
be.
I'm doing.
And I'm not a family court lawyer by any stretch of the imagination, but I believe that the child has to be living in the state here for at least 6 months before you do it. But don't quote me on that. I would go to family court and ask the clerk, but you will not get in trouble.
No, meaning like you really call ICE on me because I'm taking
listen,
there?
anybody can call anybody on you for any reason, okay? So I can't prevent somebody from calling ICE. All I can tell you is that generally speaking, certainly in the New York area, ICE has a lot of things to do, and the last thing they need to do is go listen to some deadbeat dad who doesn't want to pay his child support to go deport some mother who's just trying to take care of her child. I highly doubt that would happen.
Okay.
All right. What I would also suggest you do is you come see us.
Yes, I'm planning to.
I'll tell you why. One is you're going to get the child support you deserve under the law, and two, we have really good immigration attorneys here who hopefully can protect you.
Oh,
all right,
so you don't
have to go to bed in fear.
Listen, like I said one more time, I saw your ad and I've been reading stories after stories. And honestly, I meant to come. I cannot. Okay, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What's the latest time I could get there if I'm coming?
Okay, so I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to let you speak with Fiona, and then they can make the appointment. You know, I don't schedule my own appointments. Hold on one second, all right? And we're doing a live show here. Well, let's see. Let's schedule you in at 2:00.
Yeah.
Now, Fiona will take care of all that, and she'll give you all that information.
Thanks for the call.
All right, let's go to Sophia in Brooklyn. And by the way, if you have any criminal defense issues, this is the man. Okay, Sophia, what's up?
Good evening.
What's going on?
I'm asking a question for a friend.
Okay.
He's getting married, but he's from the Caribbean, so he's wondering if he gets married, he can go back home and then the wife can do the paper.
Why does he want to go back home? Why doesn't he stay here?
Well, it was just a suggestion, so he wants to know what's best.
When did he come to the United States?
Well, it's 5 months now.
Okay, when did he get married?
They are going to do it this week.
The answer is he should stay. Go get married this week. Stay right here. File the adjustment right here. Don't move. Put the adjustment in right here. You stay here. You get your green card here. That is the best thing to do.
Okay. Another question.
Yes.
What if the wife doesn't want to take his surname? Is that a problem?
No, it's a modern world.
Okay.
Hold on one second. We can help. All right. We have people from all over the country calling with their immigration issues, and the telephone number to call is 1-800-529-5465. Our lines are wide open right now, David. So if you do call, you will get your immigration question answered.
Good.
You also get your criminal defense question answered.
Any
I know
question,
that's
yeah.
exciting you.
It is.
All right.
I love answering questions.
You love answering questions. So let's go to George in El Paso, Texas. George.
Wow.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for
George.
taking my phone call.
What's up?
You know, I want to. First of all, I'm married. I've got 2 kids, and my wife keeps telling me I've been a permanent resident since 1991.
Your wife is telling you that, or you telling us that?
Well, she's telling me you need to become a citizen. You need to become a citizen. And, and I say, you know what? I just finished school. Now I can focus and you know, and go ahead and do this. And so I want to apply. I want to apply for citizenship.
Right.
But you know, back in 1991, I got my green card through amnesty program.
Mm-hmm.
And but you know, in 1989, I was arrested twice before I got my green card.
In 1999, you were arrested twice?
No, in 89, before I got my green card.
Okay, did immigration know about these arrests?
I really don't even remember them asking me that.
What were you arrested for? What were you arrested for?
Minor possession of alcohol, and the other one was for public intoxication. It was basically high school parties. I was the wrong place, the wrong time.
Where did this happen? Are you always a Texas guy?
It happened in Texas, correct.
In Texas, all right. So this is what I would suggest you do, because, you know, if you didn't disclose certain arrests, and I don't know how serious this is. This could just be literally a ticket, and it's not a big deal. But you had to disclose for every, even on the amnesty applications in the 1980s, you had to disclose all your arrests, and if you didn't, it could have affected your immigration case. So what I would suggest you do before you go and file your citizenship, and then all of a sudden there's this shock and surprise that they're giving you a huge problem even having your green card because you didn't disclose some sort of open container from 1989, that you come and see, well, you're not going to come and see us all the way from Texas. That would be pretty silly, but you certainly have a phone consultation with us. And what I would suggest we do is, before you do your citizenship, you've been a resident now for 20 years, so you'll wait another 6 months. Let me get your immigration records and see exactly what you put on your application, what the Immigration Service knew at the time. We're also going to run your fingerprints, see what pops up. And if there's an issue, we'll deal with it. And if there's no issue, then, you know, go do your citizenship.
Yeah, because I had also in 1991, a year, you know, after my green card, I had a DWI. I went through the first offender program, and ever since then, you know, I've been clean, nothing there, you know, I'm, you know, I work and, you know, nothing with the law. Mm-hmm. But even though it's 26 years ago, I still...
What was it in 1991?
A DWI.
A DWI.
Yeah.
DUI.
Was it a DUI or driving while intoxicated? Those are two different things.
It's a driving while intoxicated.
Okay, because that's a deportable offense too. So all of these things matter. Everything you just said matters, and I personally think you were very smart for calling and questioning about this, rather than usually they say the smart man listens to his wife. You know, happy wife is happy life. That's what they say. But in this particular case, you are also especially smart by calling and double checking, and I think you should have a consultation. We should go look into all of these records before you file your citizenship and get surprised. Any person who's ever been arrested ever in their life should be having a good attorney check through their records before filing citizenship.
It makes all the difference.
That's correct.
You should know exactly what it was you pled to. A lot of folks are unaware with what they pled to, what the sentence was, especially in these old convictions.
How does that happen? You're a criminal defense attorney. How does that even happen?
That people don't remember what they pled to?
Yeah.
Often, you know, in the 90s, a lot of times we have guys that were in their 20s. They got a plea to something that didn't result in jail time, and they were excited to get out. They didn't really care what they said they were guilty to. Mm-hmm. We have that happen all the time. Right. We've also had situations, less common, where someone would think they pled to one thing, and in the court file will reflect something else, whether by error or they mistook between co-defendants and put a plea on a certain individual on the records and in the rap sheet, improperly reflected. So we got to file documents to have the records amended. Are
these illegal? If you don't understand what you pled guilty to, is that like illegal?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You need to be fully aware and abreast of the charges against you. You need to fully allocute, which means for those out there, you need to allocute to the underlying facts of the charge. You need to be able to articulate what it was you did and how that made you guilty. If you can't do either one of those things, then it's an illegal plea and it can't be accepted.
By the way, as you're talking, so it gives me an opportunity now.
Awesome.
There's like a whole I don't know if there's like a whole sex thing going on right now. I don't know what's going on here in our Brad squad, but I think it's getting a little. We gotta
What's
keep it
happening
clean.
there?
I don't know.
Okay.
We gotta keep it a little clean.
Let's
there.
clean it up, guys.
Clean it up a little bit.
Clean it up.
Say whatever.
What you do to the Brad squad, Brad. That's why they call the Brad squad.
Or say whatever the hell you want. I really don't care. Enjoy yourselves. 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-529-5465. By the way, here's something I will never be doing. Okay, I got 2 dogs, T-Bone and Lucky. Okay, Barbara Streisand apparently had a dog by the name of Samantha, who was 14 years old. She died, but then she cloned the dog, and the dog is back to life.
Wow.
And now Samantha's cells were taken from her mouth and stomach before she died. They replicated the DNA of Samantha, and now she's back again. She's back again as Miss Fanny.
Isn't that something?
That's crazy.
So I'm assuming Miss Streisand has some cells of herself somewhere.
I have no
I would
idea.
imagine so. It's going to be a second Barbara. There's going to be a second
Lucky
Samantha.
and T-Bone, my dogs, that will not be happening.
That's it?
That is it. That is it. I only
The
get
buck stops there.
The buck stops there. I don't need more dogs pooping in my house. Okay, that's enough dogs pooping in my house for one lifetime. I don't need a second lifetime of dogs.
Yeah.
All right, 1-800-529-5465. Here is one person, by the way, David Moreno, who will not be cloned anytime soon because she's alive and well, and that's Belgium Kim. The reason we call her Belgium Kim, David
she's from
Moreno,
Belgium?
she is from Belgium.
Wow.
Let's find her. She has a perfect French accent. We wanted to dress her up in a beret tonight, okay, and a striped thing going across here. She said she would not dress up as.
Does she have a baguette?
I said we're gonna need a baguette. We need a baguette and a French beret on her. And I said I wanted you to do everything in French, and she said no. I'm sorry, I will not do that.
Oh.
That's almost too on the nose, Brad. I mean, or I could just be a really unpleasant, terrible human being the whole time.
Right. No, you're not unpleasant. We have questions. Do we have questions, Kimmy Kim?
Oh, Brad, we have questions for days. Absolutely.
Days and days of questions. David Moreno, you are going to be joining us. Okay, Kim is going to ask the question. Okay. David Moreno will give an answer, and I will let him know whether he is correct or not.
Oh man, right on the spot.
We are putting him on the spot.
What if I go 100% here?
All right, if you say I don't have any idea, then I will do it.
Great.
But David, just for disclaimer purposes,
I was about to give the disclaimer.
Okay, he is not an immigration attorney.
I just play one on TV.
He is a criminal defense attorney. Because David will turn around and say, Brad, if I'm going to start asking you CPLR questions and penal law questions, you're going to look like you're going to not know the answers as well, which I wouldn't. Everybody specializes in their own area. But let's see what we know.
So our first question is from Ellie. And Ellie says, "Hi Brad, how are you? My husband filed an I-130 for my 6-year-old daughter in August of 2017. My case was transferred to the Nebraska Service Center, and today I checked my online status, and it's saying that additional evidence is requested. Mr. Moreno, what does that mean?"
Mr. Moreno, what does that mean?
Well, I'm assuming the court wants some more documentation of the child.
This is not a court. Let me give the answer. Jilly, what is the problem, Jilly? Jilly's walking in. Jilly, what's the problem, Jilly? What do you need? What do you want us to do? Just look at the wrong... Oh, Jilly's coming in to tell us we're looking at the wrong cameras. What cameras should I be looking at? We're good. David's looking at the wrong camera.
Let's all put this on Dave here.
This is called TV production 101, right? All right. So the answer is this: you did something wrong. It was filed with the Service Center, the USCIS. They're asking for more documents. You didn't. I don't know what you filed, but you did something wrong where they're asking for additional documents. This just delays your case, which is why you want to always go to a good attorney. Okay. What I would suggest you do is when you get that letter, have a consultation with us before you respond, so you know it's being done right.
And that's the right answer.
Thank you. I will
Thank
answer
God
all the
for
immigration
Moreno.
questions from now on. Tamika Nelson, by the way, Tamika Nelson says I'm yelling. I'm not yelling. I just feel I'm very hoarse, and I feel like if I talk normally, that I won't project well. So if I'm yelling, it's just I'm yelling out of excitement, Tamika. Okay, I'm not yelling for the sake of yelling, and I'm losing my voice maybe too, so maybe I shouldn't be yelling, but I get excited.
I have some honey in my desk. I think that you should just.
No, I don't need any honey. I just get.
honey.
I'm on adrenaline now, Kim. I don't need.
Okay. We've got Francesca who wants to know, I'm 22. I came as a J1 last May and overstayed. I've got an aunt that wants to petition for me while I'm here, but she'd like to know if it's possible even though she's a permanent resident. Or does she need a citizen to make it happen?
There's no aunt filing. Let's stop right there. You can't be filed by an aunt. But if you're on a J2 visa, that means your spouse is on a J1 visa. You have duration of status. Maybe you want to do a job sponsorship or something that I don't know. But there's no aunt sponsoring. By the way, I just saw that Jeff Bossi just joined us, Kim. He will be excited to know that we have a new Anna piece who is Anna.
Oh, man.
Because Anna
is
was
it short?
Anna, you know Anna.
Of course.
Right, David actually introduced introduced us to Anna. He was the one who actually met Anna. Okay, David.
You're welcome.
David made, as they say in the Jewish religion, the shidduch, the match. Okay.
Say it one more time.
The shidduch. The shidduch.
Look at you with your Hebrew.
Yeah, no, it's Yiddish. It's Yiddish.
Ah.
All right,
they made
right. So they made the shidduch between Brad and Anna. Now Jeff Bossi wants to have his own shidduch between Jeff and Anna.
That's a whole.
All right, that's a whole other thing. And Tamika's gonna say shidduch bareback that's a whole other thing there. But the point of the matter is that Jeff Bossi, you stay tuned. We have a whole new Anna piece. I know he gets very excited when that happens.
I'm missing out on this Jeff and Anna connection.
Yes, Jeff and Anna. He just goes crazy.
I don't know how much of a connection it is as much as like a one-way
But what's really weird is Anna doesn't even know Jeff exists.
I'm going to text Anna when we get off the air. She's going to know today.
Unless she watches. Right. She does know?
Told Anna about Jeff a couple days ago.
We did. And what did she say? Did she say, oh my God, I have a stalker now? What did she say? What was her response? What was her response?
Her initial response was that she was really flattered. Like
right.
it was
very nice, very nice. Well, he's from all what I see and know of Jeff Bossi, he is as good as they get.
Awesome.
Okay, but just so you know that we have our regular viewers who watch every day. Many who have no immigration issues whatsoever. They just enjoy. I don't know if they even enjoy me anymore. Nobody even listens to me. They have their own. Nobody even listens to the show. I think they watch it on mute and they just talk amongst themselves.
That's awesome.
And
it's like an old Yahoo chat room.
It's like they're in their own chat room and there's just like some noise in the background, some guy answering immigration questions. But what happens is when Anna comes on, everybody's quiet. Everybody gets quiet and goes, "Ooh, Jeff, your girlfriend is on." So Jeff,
this is so true. He literally just said, "It doesn't matter if she knows me. I'm in my own head about it." He's got his story.
All right, what else we got? So we're gonna get to Anna. What is this? Michelle and I love the show. Barack Obama loves the show.
That's awesome.
I love the little gift. Very funny there, Brittany. I like it. All right. So what else we have for immigration questions?
So Marco actually has a really good segue about about finding job sponsorship through J1. Mm-hmm. He said that you actually had counseled his friend last year that he was currently a J1 intern and he was wondering what to do to gain legal status. And you said, get your job to hire you. Like if they will hire you and sponsor you, that's the way to go.
Right.
Unfortunately, now his boss has come back to him and said, we're not going to do the sponsorship.
Oh. Then find a new boss.
New boss.
New boss, new job.
New boss, new job.
Filing.
That's what happens. Okay. Boss doesn't want to help you. Then go find somebody who does want to help you and give them good services instead.
Yeah.
Sarah said, actually, we
And
received
by the way,
Sarah.
I could have answered that one, by the way.
And by the way, you know, for all the bosses out there, before you say no, all right, because this is what happens all the time. They all come back and say, my accountant said.
Of course.
What the hell does the accountant know about immigration? Okay, nothing. All right. Before all you bosses out there say no, have a consultation with us first. So see what, and then decide. Okay,
make an educated decision.
Make an educated decision, and then if you make an educated decision, then that's fine. But just to say no off the bat without knowing or knowledge of what is entailed in sponsoring and what you're on the hook for and what you're off the hook for, I think is unfair.
Absolutely. And you especially have phenomenal firsthand, not just immigration lawyer experience, but you have sponsored several people that work in this office.
I have. Right, they had work visas and then they got sponsored for green cards.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Sarah actually emailed us a question.
Okay. Sarah? What do you mean actually emailed us a question? I don't understand what that means.
She like emailed it to us. She wanted to know about a
sent an
consultation.
email.
She contacted us through our website, and then she asked a follow-up for the show.
Okay, during the show she sent an email. We're getting questions all over the place now.
All over the place. You can carrier pigeon us your question, and we will answer it.
So, by the way, we're 50 minutes into the show. We're going to get to Anna's, and we're going to get to who just emailed you. What was her name?
Sarah.
Sarah.
So, what do you think so far, Mr. Moreno?
So far, so good. I
so
like
far,
being
so
here.
good. You like?
What do
being
you
here?
guys think so far?
I don't know.
Let's see what the chat room is saying.
Let's see what the Brad Squad says.
Just Natalie Nichols says I'm a good guy.
Awesome. You are a good guy.
That's it. And
Jeff says, David, thank you so much for finding my Anna Banana.
Yes. David did find Anna
Jeff Posey
Banana.
is a real one.
Yes. How did you knew her? You were friends with her, right?
She's actually a friend of a friend.
A friend
I
of a
met
friend.
her
in
Los
Miami.
Angeles.
In
Los
Los Angeles. So you've known her for a while.
Yeah.
Right. And then you went down to Miami, you hung out with her, and then you're like, oh my God.
She'd be great for the show.
She'd be great for the show.
Great energy.
Right. Jeff Bossy would love her.
Of course.
Right.
Only for Jeff. Jeff, I did this with you in mind. Foresight.
All right.
Man, and the people are loving them from David Moreno, by the way.
Yes.
We are getting some
by the way, Stacey Ann Hodge, David is cute. Heart, heart, heart. Heart, heart, heart.
Well, thank you, Stacey.
Yes.
It's kind of hard sitting here next to Brad.
What is the next question? We got to get to immigration.
Sarah actually says, I've lost my green card and I only have a photo of the front of the green card, but I'm 27 and I've been on a green card since I was 2007. Can I even apply for citizenship if I don't have it?
Yeah.
Can't she order another copy of it? Or?
Yeah, but why do you need it? You have a copy of it. Immigration has in their systems that you're a green card holder. All a green card is evidence of your lawful residence. It's like, I lost my passport. Just because you lost your passport doesn't mean you're no longer a citizen.
Correct.
Or it doesn't mean you're not a citizen of the United States. Think of it that way. You're still a citizen. You just have no evidence of it. You can't get on a plane to go anywhere because you don't have evidence you're a citizen, but you don't lose your citizenship because you don't have your passport. It's the same thing. You don't lose your lawful resident status because you don't have your green card. You just don't have evidence of it. But immigration has evidence of it in their computer systems, and you have a photocopy of it, which is all you need to file your application. So it's perfectly fine.
Go for it.
We've got Denisha who said, I like David, but my heart belongs to Brad.
Told you I can't compete with Brad.
But you know what's going to happen is if I keep bringing David on, I think Denisha's heart will go over to him. I may lose her.
I'm not sure that's so true.
Yeah,
I think
I may lose her. I don't know. All right, he's a good-looking man. He's a powerful man too.
Thanks, Brad.
Right, and he's a better athlete than me. You know, it's very. You know, it's very funny.
Tell me.
David played basketball in college, and he's also an amateur boxer. So Brittany Russell, Brittany Russell, he's got a look at that. I mean, look at his fist compared to mine. Okay, I mean it's like half the size.
They can't see it. We're behind
Belgium
Kim.
We're behind the thing. Right. Like his fist is literally half the size of my fist. But he's also an amateur boxer. And Brittany Russell, who's our new personal injury attorney, who you're going to also get to see later today on the show. She is awesome.
I'm excited for that.
She's like rock star material, this Brittany Russell.
Yes,
you boxed her friend,
Her best friend.
Her best friend, David Moreno, was in a amateur boxing match with just Brittany and David didn't know each other beforehand, and David knocked out Brittany's best friend.
We should get that footage for the show.
Do we have that footage for the show?
I do have the footage, but I don't have it for the show right now.
Do you have the knockout punch?
I do have the knockout. Of course.
Yes.
How many knockout punches do I have in life?
Is that the only person you ever knocked out in a boxing ring?
I'm 1-0. I did it one time. I got one knockout and I retired.
1-0 and back to being a lawyer.
There you go. I raised a bunch of money for charity and that's it.
Right. It was a charity boxing match, and he knocked the guy out. Yeah.
That's not very charitable of you, David.
It is.
You know, if I was in the boxing ring with David, it would be like one of those bad comedies where, like, you know, like the guys running around the ring, you're like, don't hurt me, don't hurt me, don't hurt me.
But in all of this comparison, you're forgetting a really crucial point, I think, Brad.
Which is what?
Who signs David's paychecks?
I do.
There it is!
I want to get hurt.
Name's on the door.
Who makes the law firm money? He does, though. So, I mean, it's a yin and yang. All right, let's go to 2 or 3 more questions. All right, and then we have some people on hold. We're going to get to Rona and Prince, both calling from Maryland. Our lines are open, 1-800-529-5465. And then Anna Banana coming right up after that.
We've got King, who said, what's the latest on Sige? Is it true that it's taking up to 2 years now?
No.
How long is it taking? Do we know?
6-9 months.
There you go.
At least in our file. And at least in our files in our cases.
George wants to know, if you overstay your H-2B, do you have to go back home if you're getting a job sponsorship?
Yeah, but then if you overstayed, you may have a 10-year bar, so maybe you don't want to do that. Come talk to us before you start going home.
Yes. Millicent says, I love you, Brad. If you filed an I-485, do you need to send in your arrest record? And if you filed a 245I, do you need to explain how you came to the U.S.?
You do not submit your arrest record. Your arrest record's going to pop up when you fingerprint, but you do need to bring your dispositions at your interview. You also do need to explain the 245I and document it. It sounds like if you've been arrested and your 245I, you're going to need a lawyer. And when she said, I love you, Brad, I wanted to do one of these, but then maybe I would look really weird doing it because I don't know how to do it. And it's not like a manly thing to do. Is this like a manly thing to do? Not really.
I think if you're secure, Brad, you're so secure. You wear pants sometimes. You can do the heart. You can do it.
Right, and Jill, who is right here on our show today, opening up the studio doors, talking in my ear, and she says, and this basically sums it up, giving love is a manly thing.
There you go.
I agree.
That's beautiful.
Okay, and with that, we're going to come back up. Yes, Michelle, and I love this show. I agree, Barack. I agree. So with that, let's go. Let's leave your questions on Facebook. We're going to be answering more questions a little later. We're going to come back to Kimmy Kim. Right now, we're going to go to our lines, which are open, 1-800-529-5465. Let's go to Rona in Rockville, Maryland. Rona.
Hello.
How are you, Rona?
I'm good. Hi, Brad.
What's up?
My mom filed do paperwork for my sisters in 2013. They're in Jamaica. And so my sister kept asking me to ask you if you know, like, when they will get through.
Well, they're right now up, if they're unmarried, they're right now up to January 1st, 2012. So if it's 2013, then, you're looking probably about another 12 to 18 months.
Okay, okay.
You have another thing.
I also would like to know, if you are filing, can you get a visitor visa?
No, that's not going to happen, because when you're getting filed for, you're saying to the government, I want to get my green card and live here permanently. You can't then go to the embassy and say, oh, by the way, I just want to come temporarily. They're going to say, wait a second, you just told us 3 years ago you want to live here permanently. Now you're saying which one is it? So let her stay right where she is. She's going to get her green card very soon.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. 1-800-529-5465. Our lines are open. Also, that was Rona in Maryland. A lot of viewers in Maryland today, Mr. Moreno.
Nice.
A lot of viewers.
Smart people in Maryland.
Very smart people. We have Prince in Baltimore, Maryland. How are you?
Hey, Prince.
Prince.
Hello, bro.
Prince, how are you?
I'm fine. Good evening.
What's up?
Yeah, I have a 2-year green card, and I filed for extension, and they gave me a receipt I-797 notice of action.
Mm-hmm.
And they say I can travel, but I'm skeptical, so I wanted to ask what to do.
Go travel. If you got your extension, on the extension, it should say that your green card, your work authorization, and your travel authorization is extended for 1 full year. So you travel with your old expired green card and that letter, and you're fine.
I don't need stamp in my passport.
No.
No fingerprint yet.
You only need the stamp after 1 year, because that extension is good for 1 year. So as long as you're traveling within 1 year of that letter, you don't need any stamp in your passport. After the 1 year is up and that letter expires, because it says your work authorization and travel authorization are extended for 1 year, then and you need to travel beyond that, then you would need the stamp in your passport.
All right. Thank you.
Got
What's the name of the attorney beside you?
What?
The black guy.
I'm sorry, say that again?
What's the name of the attorney beside you?
What number you need to reach me? Is that your question?
No. The name of the guy, my brother beside you. What's the name? The attorney.
Oh, me, Dave Moreno. How are you?
Oh, he wants to know what's the brother's name he asked.
Yeah.
I thought he said, what's your number? I didn't understand you.
No, it's the name.
529-5465.
Right.
That's my
David
number.
Moreno. You know what? If we could do a lower third, so everyone knows what the brother is here next to me. His attorney. He's not a brother, right? He's an attorney here. That's what we call him here. He's a professional attorney. He's here joined us. He's a former district attorney. And if we get David Moreno, there he is, criminal attorney, Spar and Bernstein, PCs, fabulous attorney. Do you know, Prince, by the way, just, I'm going to brag a little bit about David, okay? He has won so many awards. By the way, to get a job in the district attorney's office in Manhattan, they only picked the creme de la creme. So you already know he's a good attorney coming out of the district attorney's office in Manhattan, because the district attorney's office in Manhattan gets the biggest cases from around the country. Number two, he was voted one of the top 40 attorneys under the age of 40. He was voted one of the top 100 trial attorneys in America. He was also voted one of the top 40 black attorneys in America at any age, right?
Yeah, I hate when we do this rundown, but thank you, bro.
There's a huge rundown. He's got more too, but I'll just stop
Congratulations, bro.
All right.
Thank you, Prince.
All right,
Thank
Prince.
you.
All right. 1-800. Oh, I hung up on him by mistake.
Sorry, Prince. Take care.
He wanted to give you more accolades, and I hung up on him. 1-800-529-5465. Our lines are open. Let's go to Nick in West Palm Beach, Florida. Nick, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Brad.
What's going on?
I want to ask you a question. I put in my daughter's paper. She's in Jamaica, right?
Mm-hmm.
So me and my wife put in her papers and stuff about where I was wondering how long before you get a response from them. They send me a letter said that they receive everything already. So I just want to know how long before they send more for any more documentation for her.
Where's your wife?
Oh, she's over here. She's in West Palm Beach. She's a citizen.
Did you? So she put in for you. Did you file an adjustment application?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So, and this was filed when?
My one filed from last year, December.
All right. You got your receipt back? Did you take your fingerprints so far?
Yes, I did my fingerprint so far.
Okay, so December, January, February, March. By April, you should be getting your work permit by the end of April. Okay.
Right.
All right.
But I'm asking for my daughter.
Oh, where's your daughter?
Jamaica, I believe.
Oh, my daughter's in Jamaica.
Oh, your daughter's going to be a year and change. You're going to get through first before your daughter.
Oh, okay.
All right. But you should have you should have filed a separate application for your daughter. Did you do that?
Yes, it's separate. Yes,
okay, fine.
Separate.
Okay, fine. So you paid $1,760 for you, and a separate $535 for your daughter. Correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, I did that.
Then you're all in good shape so far.
Good luck.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. 1-800-529-5465. Sharon in the Bronx. Sharon.
Hi. Good evening, Brad.
Good evening. What's up?
If your child filed for you, you're living here in America. Do you go into an interview with your child?
Yep.
Okay.
Years ago, they used to not have the interviews for when a child filed for a parent and it was a straightforward case without any questions or criminal background or anything like that. Now, under Donald Trump, every person who gets a green card gets an interview. No interviews are waived in any situation.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
You're welcome. 1-800-529-5465. So this comes to the show, okay, where we're talking about Anna Banana, okay? Anna Ascona, affectionately known as Anna Banana through our Brad squad, but her real name is Anna Ascona. She is our Miami correspondent. She was in, is this the video of her at American Airlines Arena? Okay, fine. All right. So she was at American Airlines Arena last night celebrating Dominican Republic Independence Day. And she did video. I don't know exactly what she did with the Miami Heat, and we will get a video of that. I don't guess we haven't gotten it yet.
Excited to see that.
So today, instead, she interviewed Daniel Cardenas, who is a first-generation American family from Colombia. Now, I was just in
Dominican Heritage Night.
Yes, I was just in Colombia, in Cartagena, 9 months ago. Beautiful city. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love
Yeah, have you been to Cartagena, Colombia?
I've been to Bogotá. I've been to
Oh, you
Medellin.
say that really nice.
Habla español.
Yes, that's true.
¿Y qué lo que, dominicanos? ¿Qué lo que?
Oh, very good. Muy bien. Muy bien. Muy bien.
Oh,
that's all I know.
You're practicing, Brad. Come on.
Yes, that's all I
You're
know.
an immigration guy.
Right. Okay. But I'll talk Yiddish.
Yiddish. Okay.
So Cartagena was great. So this guy Daniel Cardenas, he is from first generation from Colombia, and also the Dominican Republic. He's half Colombian, half DR, and he's the manager for Locos por Juana. And we had the lead singer for Locos por Juana on the other day, Itaúi if I'm pronouncing it right, Correa, Itaúi Correa, who was up for the Grammy Award, actually.
Wow, that's amazing.
So now we have the manager, and let's see what they have to say about their American dreams.
What's going on, friends from The Brad Show? I'm Anna Ascona. Today I have with me first-generation American Daniel Cardenas, who also manages the band Locos por Juana. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So, Danny, you manage Locos por Juana, which we recently had Itagüí on our show. Can you tell me what's it like to manage a band?
So it's interesting because you have to deal with a cast of characters, for lack of better words. But I appreciate it because I think artists are the backbone of society. And they kind of get shunned a lot. So in reality, they should be, praised. They should be helped because they help expand our perspective on things. They help us look at things differently. They tell their stories through music, through paintings, through whatever form that they decide to express themselves. So I appreciate it. I appreciate having the opportunity to protect them, to guide them, to expand on their dreams, and that every single day it's a blessing.
And what made you get into the music industry?
Well, I mean, I was born in Queens, New York, and really where we come from is kind of you play basketball, you go into the music industry, or you do something negative. So I decided early on that I didn't want to do anything negative. The easiest route to start off in this entrepreneurial world was music. So I started off as a DJ. From DJing, started throwing my own concerts, booking artists, doing so on and so forth, and then from there I led to manage different artists.
Now let's talk about your family's background. I know you're Dominican and Colombian. Do you feel like there was a struggle growing up with two different cultural backgrounds? Because we're all Latinos, but we have our differences.
No, for sure. So at certain points in my life, I was more Dominican. At certain points, I was a little, not more Colombian, but I started embracing my Colombian side. But now at this point, I love and appreciate both my cultures 100%. I've had the opportunity to go to Colombia several times through the music. I've been going to Dominican Republic since I was a little boy. So both those cultures, and it's funny, there's so many different cultures within the Latin diaspora. But the Dominican culture and the Colombian culture, they're very similar.
Do you know the reason why your parents migrated to the United States?
So my mom and my grandfather. My grandfather was heavily involved in a lot of political stuff during Trujillo. Trujillo was one of the dictators of Dominican Republic, and a bunch of other situations, whatever. So he left Dominican Republic earlier. Him and my grandmother weren't together at the time. Little by little, the pressure of the opportunities in the United States. My grandfather was kind of like, hey, I need my daughter here. So la pidió, like they say. So
sponsored.
Sponsored her. Yeah, and she came to New York. My dad got here my family's from Soledad. Soledad back in the days was a very prominent. It's right outside of Barranquilla, so it's a very prominent area. My grandfather was, for lack of better words, he was like the mayor of the town. He was a boxing champion. A weightlifting champion. So he was very well respected, but he saw what was coming. And nowadays, Soledad is one of the probably, like we say, Candela neighborhoods. So it's really dangerous. It's really tough.
Have your parents shared any struggles they face being immigrants in the United States, not knowing the language, coming to a new, like you mentioned, being in an uncomfortable situation? So can you share with me any story that they've told you when they migrated here? Yeah,
for sure. So my dad loves to dance, period. And people here don't understand that. And it's like, oh, he must do a lot of drugs. My dad just likes to dance. Yeah. So when he got here, the only thing that kind of helped him feel like home was in Queens. It was Little Colombia, and he would go out. He would go out 7 days a week and go dancing. And this is from the moment he got here. He got here at like 13, so by 14, 15 years old, he was in clubs dancing his butt off. Wow. My mom she dealt with a lot of interesting things because she moved into Woodside, and literally my family, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and my great-uncle, who's my mother's godfather, were the first Latins in this Irish neighborhood in Woodside. So they dealt with racism to the maximum.
And what are some challenges you feel like you faced being first-generation American?
It was interesting. Applying to college was tough. My parents are cheerleaders. My parents, they love me, they support me, they understand things better than most average, immigrant parents do. But sometimes it was just out of their limitations or out of my limitations. I didn't know what FAFSA was. I didn't know what college acceptance was. I didn't know what the SAT was. So it's like, and then I dealt with racism. I dealt with racism a lot. From when I was a kid to college, throughout the whole time, to this day.
Tell me, what's your definition of the American dream?
My American dream is simply making sure that I break down as many doors as possible so that the person that comes right behind me or the person next to me or the person beside of me at least sees, okay, that was done. Now I can do it. I can do that too. I don't need the credit for myself. It's not, to create the legacy for myself. It's not none of that. But I've experienced it. I've witnessed it, and I've done it myself. That I see when I did something, and then I see somebody else coming, and now they feel comfortable trying to do that too. So it's just to inspire the next generation because we have something special.
And do you feel like you're living it right now? You feel like you're
Yeah, for sure, okay. For sure. I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm living it every day, 100%. To my own way, though, not to, I don't care. I don't care about the picket fence. I care about, 15 different entrepreneurs coming after me.
Well, Daniel, thank you so much for joining us. Can you please give a shout out to the Brad Show?
Shout out to the Brad Show. Thank you for all the work that you guys are doing for all the people trying to come to this country or the people that are here illegally, legally, whatever scenario. I really appreciate it and keep up the good work.
Yep, we're back.
Wow, that was a really good piece.
He said, keep up the good work. We didn't hear it because we came back a little early there. Yeah. But he did say, hey, we're doing a good job. And that was a good piece. Yeah. What'd you get from that?
Very, very, very touching. A lot of stuff that I can relate to.
Yeah.
Growing up in Long Island, in a very mixed area, having, parents who came from a different country.
You're the first generation born in America.
My mom actually
Your mom was?
Yeah. My dad was born in Puerto Rico. My mom, her mom comes from Curacao. It's a small country off the coast of Venezuela. I can relate.
But you also have Dominican roots as well.
No. Everybody thinks that.
Guyanese roots.
Guyanese.
Right.
I
also thought
Antillean,
Dominican
Puerto
roots.
Rican. No.
And then you told me you're 4% Jewish.
I think you add in percent every day. Yesterday I was 3%. I held the huppah once. That makes me 10%.
You wore a yarmulke one
I wore a yarmulke multiple times. And I'm from Long Island. I love bagels.
Right. You love bagels. So there's something there. There's something there.
Both Brad and I both did a 23andMe ancestry DNA genetic test. And I came out with about 1% Ashkenazi Jew.
Yeah, that's
And
funny.
I think Brad and I may be long lost cousins.
I came up with 2% Eskimo.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Eskimo Brad.
Yeah, I was a 2% Eskimo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We need to put T-Bone and your other dog on a sled and pull you into the office next time. But I was just going to say, I can definitely relate to the need to use music or sports as a channel to get out of your situation. To help keep you focused in school, to give you something to do after school that's safe as an outlet. I think he was talking about a little bit about this stuff in his background and growing up, and then also the influence of music and the importance of music in the Latin American culture,
Right.
and how it's blared in your house. You have large family parties with your extended family. I can definitely see how that has fostered his love of music and how it affected his everyday life.
I'll even say this, and I think it doesn't matter what culture you're from, it's have an interest. Have something that keeps you off the streets. Maybe your interest has nothing to do with sports and music. Maybe it's science. Maybe it's astronomy. Maybe it's bugs. You like to study bugs. I don't know. Whatever. You like to read poetry.
Did you have a bug phase, Brad?
No, I never had a
My
bug
little
phase.
brother was collecting spiders once.
That's
and it was
gross.
the weirdest thing.
That's
You'd
gross.
see all these water bottles
That's
with spiders
disgusting.
in. Oh my
That's
God,
disgusting.
it would creep me out.
You know what creeped me out? I remember in 7th grade, I used to have to do this bug collection. Not used to. They made you do the bug collection.
That's ridiculous. I
And
would
you
have
had
failed.
to- I had to go in the backyard, kill the bug, stick the pin in the bug, bring it in. It was the most disgusting
Different
project.
species of bugs,
Different
or?
species of bugs and classify them.
What was the lesson you learned there?
I hate bugs. I'm still scarred from it, from a little bit from it. But tell us a little bit. You run the criminal defense department with Paul Hirsch. Tell us a little bit about what's happening there now. If you had any successful cases or interesting cases you'd like to talk about.
There's one that comes to mind. It was a case that was the bane of my existence for quite a while. A very long road to get to what ended up being a great resolution. The case involved a deceased matriarch. And that deceased matriarch left her home to her eldest daughter. At the time of her death, her grandson was living in the home. I think you and I may have spoken about this case a little bit before. He was living in the home, and
I actually don't remember it, so I'm listening.
His aunt, the daughter of the matriarch that passed away, was living in another state. So
the woman owns the house, and there's a grandson living in it, and then there's an aunt who lives in another state.
Correct.
Okay, so
the will very clearly stated, upon my death, person A should take control of the house. She should sell the house, split the proceeds amongst your siblings, all siblings except for father of grandson living in the home. He needs to go. The house should be sold. When our client...
So basically the house is, so I understand this.
Of course.
All right, the kid lives in the house, and she basically gave the house in equal parts to everybody in her family, except she disinherited the kid who was living in the house.
The kid's father.
The kid's father, who then subsequently goes to the kid.
Correct.
And who were we representing?
We were representing the woman who was bequeathed the house. I hate to use law school terms. Bequeathed the house.
We were representing the woman who was supposed to get the house.
Correct.
Not the grandson.
Correct.
Who got screwed out of the house.
Correct.
Okay.
So this woman who has no interest actually in the house, she was just trying to follow the wishes of the will. She goes to the house. She tells the grandson he has to leave numerous times. He gets physical with her. He puts his hands on her. His father
There's now
comes
an
in.
assault.
There's an assault. His father comes and threatens, our client. And our client, feeling helpless and hopeless, she went downstairs to the basement, and there was a weapon in the basement. And she told him, point blank, pulled the weapon on him and told him, you got to leave.
And that's when she gets arrested.
And that's when the grandson calls the police. The cops come in there, and this is where the case turns. And this is actually how we were able to succeed in this case. When the cops come, the grandson is standing outside. He's saying, "This is my house."
Where did this happen?
This happened in Queens.
In Queens.
This is my house. She's got no right to be there. The cop said, "All right, well, we'll get her out. Can we search the house?" Grandson says yes. All right?
Never let them search.
Never let them search. Grandson says yes.
First mistake by the grandson.
They search the house. This woman, our client, who's been assaulted, been battered, been taken advantage of. She's only trying to further the actual will.
She didn't go about it the right way.
She didn't go about the right way, but she felt she had no choice, which I can definitely empathize with after knowing the surrounding factors. She gets arrested. All right. The case is going on. This is New York State. You get caught with a gun in New York State, they're asking for state prison time off the bat. It doesn't matter who you are.
Right.
You can be a medical doctor. You can have a cure for cancer. You get found with a gun in New York, you go into state prison. All right?
Right.
They didn't make our client any offers. The case went
By the way, Wendy Brown wants to know, if she didn't need the house, why didn't she just let him? Why, if she didn't want him in the house, why did she let this guy live there in the first place?
Well, the grandmother originally, correct?
Yeah, right.
I can't speak for the deceased, but what
You don't
I
know what she
what
was
I
thinking.
take from it is that the grandson bounced around, and the grandma was the only person that was willing to put up with what he had going on.
Okay.
All right.
Right, but still didn't want to leave any assets to him.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So case goes all the way to a hearing. We take the case to a hearing, and at the hearing, we're litigating whether or not the search of the house was lawful, right? And the cop testifies, and what I was able to establish is that the grandson did not have any authority to authorize the search of the house. And by doing so, the judge ruled that the cops did not have
the right to walk
in and perform a warrantless search without proper permission or authority.
And everything they discovered, including this woman with the gun, was
Correct.
thrown out
Was
of court.
thrown out.
That's
So
a great
no
job.
gun.
That's actually
no
a great
case,
argument.
No state prison.
Right.
Our client, justice was served. Obviously, we're not advocating for guns. Obviously, we're not advocating for pulling a weapon on someone. But there are situations, unique situations, when folks feel helpless. And there are avenues in the law in which sometimes we can protect
And I'll
them.
tell you what we do advocate for. We advocate for people's rights.
Of course.
Cops don't have the right to walk into somebody's home under the law.
That's why we have a Constitution.
You have a right to privacy in your own home. So for everybody out there, again, all I can urge you is when you need good criminal defense attorneys, especially in New York and New Jersey, but any federal case around the United States, but New York and New Jersey and state courts, you need to keep our number saved, 1-800-529-5465. The same number we tell you to call to get your immigration questions answered is the number to my law office, is the number to reach David Moreno, is the number to reach me, number to reach all of our attorneys here at Spar and Bernstein. And that give the number. And that telephone number is 1-800-529-5465, 1-800-LAW-LINK. Save it in your phone.
Yeah, and I'm reading Wendy's comment. She says family needs to come together. Absolutely. But oftentimes when there's assets involved and folks die, family law and wills and trusts and estates are some of the most hostile areas of the law. It doesn't always go smoothly. Usually doesn't escalate to this level, but it doesn't always go smoothly.
It's funny, in like the murder investigations, and you're a DA, right?
Yeah.
You always look to the family first, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Murders happen. More people get murdered by
those
somebody
close
they
to them.
know who is very close to them than complete
someone on the
strangers.
street. Yeah.
Than complete strangers. So whenever there's like a murder and an unsolved murder, the first thing the cops do is go to the family members.
Next time we play Clue, you're going to be my partner.
Yeah, all right. 1-800-529-5465, 1-800-529-5465. We have Patsy who's been waiting a few minutes. Let's get to Patsy.
Hey, Patsy.
And our lines are we're going to get to Patsy, and our lines are open. So please call us at 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465. Patsy.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi,
Good
how are
evening,
you?
rather.
How you doing?
All right. This is my problem. I have a cousin, right? He has been in the United States for 19 years. However, 13 to 15 years ago, he got held twice with marijuana. He got probation and community service. He got 3 kids here. Can he get his green card if he gets married with those charges?
Well, with charges, yes. With convictions, no.
Yeah.
If you have 2 criminal convictions for marijuana, even if it's 2 joints on 2 separate days, you are barred for life from getting a green card. Which is amazing because if you have an assault, there's a waiver for it.
Yeah.
If you have, for almost any other case, you can get a waiver for it, but for possession of drugs.
Isn't that ironic?
It's very ironic.
It's draconian.
Possession of a gun doesn't even bar you in certain circumstances from getting a green card.
Yeah.
But shooting a gun obviously does. Now, where did these convictions happen?
In New York State.
Where in New York State?
In the Bronx and Manhattan.
Okay.
What years? I think that's important too.
What years?
This is 13 to 15 years ago.
So I'm going to let David take over. This is a call for David more than me. He needs to vacate these convictions. He needs to be able to go back to the criminal court and say what happened is fundamentally unfair. I pled guilty to these crimes. Had I known I would never be able to get a green card, maybe I wouldn't have done that. Maybe I would have fought it out. But this is really David's area, not mine.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head, Brad. Obviously, what we want to do in this case is to revisit the cases back in the jurisdictions where they happened. One thing that's very important, though, is does he have any other contacts? Has he been arrested any other times? Are there any other convictions?
No, besides these two, no, nothing else.
Okay.
And these were 13 to 15 years ago.
Okay, so I don't really want to get into the facts of his case, on the phone and on the air with you, because we can't guarantee attorney-client privilege, and we don't want to put his business out there. We don't know who's watching. However, he should come in and see us. There's relief available for him. There's a very legitimate argument to be made, especially with the time of his conviction. There were a lot of attorneys that were not in the course of properly explaining the collateral consequences of taking these sorts of pleas at that time. Because of that, there's a vehicle that allows relief in situations like this for non-citizens that take pleas that were not properly advised, were misadvised of what this plea would mean for them in the future.
The bottom line is this.
The first time.
Yeah, the bottom line is this. Yeah, go ahead.
The first time they came, this was in the apartment, and they didn't even have a warrant, and they searched and whatever and found.
Well, maybe that plea was illegal because of a bad search, but he pled guilty. It's so important, especially when you're not a citizen, to take every arrest like it's life and death.
Of course, it
because
always is.
You think, it's a minor thing, I'll just plead guilty and walk away, and now all of a sudden he can never get a green card. The bottom line is this: when you have two drug convictions, even if it's minor marijuana, you need to go back and attack those criminal charges and criminal convictions. Other than that, he's never going to get a green card.
Well, good thing for him, Patsy, last point on that. Good thing for him is that the court in these situations will look at the totality of the circumstances, the evidence, how strong it was against him versus the weight of the plea. So in this situation, if you're talking about a warrantless search and a small amount of marijuana, he's in a pretty good shape.
All right. So hold on one second. Come in and speak to David. All right.
Yes, definitely.
All right. And by the way, we've had the best success in the Bronx and Brooklyn. It doesn't mean that you guaranteed success, but you get better odds in the Bronx and Brooklyn in these type of cases.
That is a fact. That is a fact.
All right. 1-800-529-5465. This is what we're going to do. Everybody who has questions, leave them right now on Facebook. We're going to get back to Kimmy Kim Kim in a few minutes. And we're going to finish the show with Kimmy Kim Kim, Belgium Kim, with all of your Facebook questions. Earlier today, I had a chance to talk with one of your colleagues, Jacob Hudnut, also about criminal defense.
Awesome. Jake is great.
Jake is awesome. And we were talking about people in jail and why it's important not to be in jail. And you would think that's a pretty obvious...
That's pretty sound advice.
Pretty sound advice that, it's good not to be in jail. But you
find yourself there.
You find yourself there, and when you find yourself there, you're really behind the 8 ball. Let's watch. It's actually a pretty interesting conversation. Watch. So we're here with Jake Hudnut, and he's our criminal defense attorney, and we're here to discuss what's going on for people who are in jail. If you're in jail waiting trial, that puts you in a criminal jail waiting a trial, that puts you in a completely different position than if you are out of jail awaiting trial. And you need, especially if you or somebody you know is in jail awaiting trial, you especially need a knowledgeable and zealous defense attorney who is going to fight with you. Jake Hudnut is one of those defense attorneys. Also, David Moreno, Paul Hirsch, also from our criminal defense department, are also those attorneys. So for all of the viewers out there, Jake, tell us what the difference is between, because, a lot of people say jail, prison. What is the difference between jail and prison?
Excellent. Brad, happy to be back. The difference between jail and prison is quite simple. Sometimes people think it's the same word. It's not. The short answer is jail is where you go if your sentence is less than a year, and prison is where you go if your sentence is more than a year. Also, if you're awaiting trial on charges that are open, you're in jail. So short answer is everybody in jail has either been sentenced to 1 year or less or are waiting trial, and everyone in prison has been found guilty of something and sentenced to 1 year or more.
And jail is generally at near the county courthouse, in a city, in a small little cell. And prison is usually out in the country somewhere,
right.
More of a campus and I guess walls and fences and prison guards and things of that nature.
Yeah, typically prisons are funded by the state and the jails are funded by the cities and the counties.
So why is it easier? Maybe many people would say, yeah, it's obvious. obvious, but maybe it's not so obvious. Why is it easier to fight your case when you're out of jail than when you are in jail?
Sure. Study after study after study, a recent one from about 3 years ago was done at Princeton, shows that folks that are outside of jail while they're awaiting trial have a higher rate of success vindicating themselves. There's a number of reasons for that. Your prosecutor seeing you in street clothes in court. You're not having to put money toward saving up money for bail. But a big reason that affects us in the way we approach it is that when you're out, you can go to your lawyer's office and you can go over the discovery and you can plan strategy and you can actually see what it is that the prosecutor is going to use to convict you at your trial, and you and your attorney can come up with a plan to fight that evidence.
So what would be the what would be the reason? I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you.
Sure.
What is the reason why people are sitting in jail right now, and not out of jail fighting their cases?
Okay. Really, the only reason you should be in jail, the Supreme Court once said that liberty before trial is the norm, and the exception is waiting in jail for your trial. However, that's not the reality. That's something nice that our Supreme Court has said, but the reality is people are in jail, and the reason you're in jail pending trial is for two reasons and two reasons alone. To ensure that you come back to court on your court dates, and to protect the public if necessary. But all too often, it has become a money issue, and people who can afford to make bail are the ones that are out and not waiting for their trial. We've talked about this before, but you need a lawyer who's going to make a very good bail argument, so you get a low bail or a released on your own recognizance. And that's why people are in jail. Though really, you're waiting so that the court knows that you're going to be there for your day in court.
Now, what happens if Jay Cudnut is contacted after bail is set and bail is too high for this person? They don't have the money, they don't have the home to put up as collateral. What would Jay Cudnut do? Can you go back and ask for another bail hearing? Can you make an appeal? What is the process to try to get somebody out of jail?
Yes. The standard in most jurisdictions to fight a bail that has been set is you need to show a change in circumstances. I think the easiest way that a good attorney is going to do that is they're going to relook through all the evidence and they're going to find something that prior attorney missed, and they're going to argue to the judge, hey judge, look, this wasn't taken into consideration, it should have been, and the bail should be lower. And that goes toward the notion of one of the things a judge can consider when setting a bail, in addition to ties to the community and prior criminal record, is the strength of the state's case. So if you can kind of attack the proofs at a trial, pre-trial hearing, you might be able to get the bail lowered. And if not, then you got to get in there and visit your client in jail.
So they say, I don't know who they are, but this is what I've always heard, and even when I was in law school and as a young attorney, there's only three places an attorney should be: in court, in jail meeting their clients, or at the crime scene. Let's talk about at least two of them. We know about your courtroom theatrics and how well you do there. Let's talk about going to meet somebody in jail. Maybe bail has not been set. Maybe bail has been set. They can't afford bail. What is it that you're talking about with them while they are in jail? What is it that you need to get from them? And is anybody listening to this conversation?
Sure. So yeah, a good attorney, a good criminal defense attorney should not be afraid of jail visits. Paul, David, and I are not. We quite often are going to the county jails, going to the state prisons, putting ourselves in the other side of the bars that are behind us on the set here, and we're sitting with the client and we're going through the discovery, we're showing them police reports, we're taking notes on their version of things, we're taking notes on the questions that they want to have, and we're really getting to the meat of the state's case, and we're coming up with strategy. Now, typically there's no barrier between us and our client, so that would be called a contact visit, meaning that just like now, I could hand you a piece of paper, you could read it, you could hand it back to me. Occasionally, and I was at Rikers recently, and it was a no contact visit insofar as there was glass between us and a drawer to pass things back and forth. There was no recording equipment, but the short answer is no. The jail cannot record an attorney conversation that's happening there in person.
So if you're in jail or someone you know is in jail and they're meeting with their attorney, that is a privileged conversation between you and the attorney. Nobody else is listening.
Yes.
Versus if your wife or your spouse or your girlfriend or your child, your adult children come, whatever it may be, to visit you or your parents, those conversations would be taped.
They can be, and yes, and that would be admissible. And same goes for the telephone. I always counsel clients and their families that if you're incarcerated and you're calling family, you need to assume that that call is being recorded, that the corrections officers are listening, that the prosecutor's offices are listening. Where that gets hairy is sometimes I urge clients to keep that in mind when they call me from jail.
Call their attorney too, because you never know. They're listening. It could be an illegal listening, but a listening nevertheless.
There's not necessarily an obligation for them to shut off the recording machine for counsel conversations that are over the phone, because there's a different expectation of privacy. However, if they did hear something, it would not be admissible in court. It would not be grounds for probable cause of any further investigation. So even an attorney on the phone needs to play it safe.
But let's say they did hear something and it gave them an idea to go, dig up the backyard to find the loot that was buried.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then they go and dig up the backyard and find the loot that was buried. As an attorney, they're going to have to come and demonstrate that they decided to dig up this backyard. I'm just making up some story. And it had nothing to do with that phone conversation. But now, all of a sudden, you're in an argument how they found out about this information. So you're actually much better off. That's why attorneys should be in the jail meeting their clients and not talking to their clients over the telephone.
100%.
Now, give me a few examples before we go. Of real life situations that you handled, that Paul handled, that David may have handled here at Spar and Bernstein, where you zealously defended somebody in a jail, and because of the work that you did in your zealous defense of them, it really made a difference.
Sure. Our interaction with the jail isn't just limited to going there and visiting clients. We need to keep in mind that folks that are in jail awaiting trial have not been found guilty of anything yet. And they are, of course, human beings that have certain needs and rights. I've 3 examples come to mind on times that I've had to step up and help a client who's in jail. I had a client who had very bad kidney disease, was not getting medical treatment regularly. He was supposed to have it 3 times a week. The jail kept missing, or the bus was late. And I went in front of a judge, and I told the judge that if this client is not released, not only will he probably get very sick, but he will have a claim. I said I've advised him that he will have a claim against the county for their negligence, and you better believe that bail was changed rather quickly.
Right.
And he was released and was able to be on home confinement and take himself to his medical appointments. It's a very common practice where I cut my teeth in Hudson County, that if a client's immediate family member dies while they're in jail, if you're a defense attorney worth your weight, you go in front of the judge and you get a special order permitting the county sheriff's officers to take that inmate to that funeral so that they can pay their last respects, have the right to say goodbye. And lastly, very interestingly, and you see this portrayed inaccurately on television and movies all the time, is that if a defendant is going to go to trial in front of a jury, they have to be dressed as if they were not in jail. A jury cannot know that a defendant in front of them is incarcerated.
You always see the defendant in the movies and the TV come out in the orange jumpsuit.
Right. Now, for a status conference, you might see that. But once the jury's impaneled, that person has to be dressed up.
And who's supposed to give them their clothes?
Family.
Right.
That's not always a reality. Some public defenders' offices will work with you, but quite often on my proudest trials, I've dressed the client myself.
You went out shopping for the client.
I've stood behind plenty of clients and put the necktie on before the jury comes in the room, because it's reversible error if a jury finds out that a defendant is awaiting trial in jail.
Well, that is just, it's fantastic information, by the way, and a fantastic job that not only you do here at Spar and Bernstein as criminal defense attorneys, representing our clients, people who are accused of crimes, some who are rightfully accused of a crime, but still have certain rights, and others who are just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and certainly have rights as well. So, and you do a wonderful job, you, Paul, David, and for everybody out there. God forbid you get yourself in a sticky situation. You need to have good criminal defense attorneys who represent you, who are zealously representing you, whether you are in jail, whether you are out of jail, whether you need to get out of jail, and whether this is yourself, your loved one, your family member. You need to save our telephone number. The telephone number is 1-800-529-5465. And the reason why I say save it is because when you get into that situation, you will not know what to do or what to call or who to call or what to say. If you think about it ahead of time, and if you say to yourself, God forbid I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time, I just got to remember one thing. Call 1-800-529-5465 24 hours a day, and you're going to get good criminal defense attorneys who are going to be right there with you to fight for you and to protect your rights. So save our number. It's 1-800-529-5465. The best way to save our number is to pick up the phone, dial the number. You hear Fiona say, hi, Spar and Bernstein, how can I help you? And click, hang up on her. Now you know you got the number saved. 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465. Obviously, prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome. Jake, fantastic job. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
All right, 1-800-529-5465. Fantastic job by Jake.
Great job, Jake.
Yes, okay. I didn't realize we were ending right there on the spot. 1-800-529-5465. I am joined here by David Moreno from our Criminal Defense Department. Our lines are open. We're going to go to Ashton in Brooklyn. Ashton.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I'm just calling. I have a green card. I've had the green card since 1970.
Wow.
And I had a little problem in the 80s.
What's the little problem?
I think it was in 86.
Maybe. We'll see if it's little or not.
Well, what it was is a friend gave me a ride home one day, and the van was a stolen van.
Friend gave you a ride home in what?
It was a van. He gave me a ride home from New Jersey, and he was pulled over in a stolen van.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what was happening. I went to court. They gave me some kind of probation thing.
Right.
And then they dismissed the case.
A probation thing and dismiss the case? Is there such a thing as probation thing and dismiss the case, Mr. Moreno?
Actually, you're leaving some stuff out, right? In order to be put on probation, you would have to have entered a plea into something. Now, you could have...
guilty to something.
Yeah, you'd have had to plead guilty, completed probation as a condition, and once you successfully completed the probation, it would have been able to be reduced to some sort of a violation or, in certain cases, a dismissal, but there would have been a plea on the record prior to that.
Ashton, is that your only conviction ever in your life?
Yeah.
All right. So even if it happened in the 80s, she's had a green card since 1970. Even if you pled guilty to, God forbid, manslaughter.
Yeah.
It was in the 80s. It still doesn't bar you from becoming a citizen. But certainly if you were on probation, you pled guilty to something. All right. I think your question is you want to become a citizen or do something about that, right?
Well, I've traveled. Every time I come through, they always pull me over.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because you have a deportable offense. The reason they don't put you in deportation is they're going to have a hard time deporting you because you've been a long-term permanent resident for like 47 or 48 years already with one conviction from 30 years ago. So that's going to be they're going to have a hard time deporting you on that. But certainly you have a deportable offense. I think what you should be doing is doing your citizenship. That's what I think you should be doing. And you live in Brooklyn. We're right across the water. Come see us, make a consultation. Let's get it done for you.
Yeah.
Another thing.
What?
I had a couple of little tax problems. Would that affect me?
What is a couple of tax problems? Tell
Well,
me.
I owe some money for the taxes.
How much
I
you
owe
owe?
some tax money.
How much you owe?
It should be like about $15,000.
All right. So this is the good news. Okay. We got everything covered here. Okay. So you have an immigration problem. We have our criminal defense team. If that becomes problematic, in your case, I don't think so. We also have a great tax department with Carmela Waldron. Carmela basically negotiates your taxes down to almost nothing. If you can't afford to pay it, instead of going on a payment plan, and almost anybody who goes on a payment plan can't afford to pay their taxes. So just about anybody who owes taxes and goes on a payment plan, Carmela should be able to help you reduce that tax debt to almost nothing. Now there's no guarantees, but it's a free consultation with Carmela.
Which is great.
So we will hopefully fix your taxes as well. So hold on one second, okay? All right, let's go to Jasmine in Brooklyn. Also, Jasmine in Brooklyn. Jasmine.
Hello?
Jasmine.
Hey, Jasmine.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I got in the altercation with my aunt back in November, and we went to court. And while I was leaving court, immigration hold on to me. I was locked up from November 15th until the 9th of February. So when I went to court, the judge told me that my previous boyfriend has to get married to me. So he signed the affidavit that he was going to marry to me. But now he's saying that he's not going to do it. So I was wondering if he's the one that has to do it, or I can marry to somebody else, or I have to marry to him because he's the one that signed the affidavit.
Well, you got to be married in a bona fide loving marriage. Let's start there. Okay, you just can't go randomly marry just any person on the street. Okay, this man signed an affidavit. I assume in this affidavit he said he loves you. You're in a relationship with him. I would find it really hard to believe that anybody would believe that after he says all of this and does all of this, you don't marry him and you go off and marry person number two. Person number two, who the hell is this guy? Where did he come from? You told us 3 weeks ago on February 2nd you were in a relationship or you're going to marry this guy, and now you show up with some other man. They're going to say that, the BS meter is going to be ringing off the hook. I think before you stick your foot in your mouth for one more second, you should come see us. I don't know why immigration held you. Do you have other criminal records?
No criminal record.
All right,
I'm going back to court the 8th of March,
All right,
and they say I'm married before.
This sounds like what happened was that perhaps she was arrested for assault. The criminal case is still ongoing.
That's what I was going to ask.
And maybe immigration had a detainer on her.
It's resolved?
Yeah, it's resolved.
Okay.
What did you plead guilty to?
Nothing.
Dismissed?
Yes, it's dismissed.
Okay.
I'm shocked that immigration
They
came.
will hold on to you.
Yeah, because generally speaking, immigration doesn't come. New York's a sanctuary city. They don't call immigration unless you're actually found guilty of a crime.
You should definitely just come in and see us, and we'll work this
Because
out.
number one, number two, there's no judge in the world who said go get married. The judge told me to go get married.
Yeah.
I never heard of that either. So hold on, there's more to the story. Let's go speak to David in Sacramento, California. David.
Hi, Brad.
Hey, what's up?
Good, Brad. Thank you for the show.
Thank
we
you.
really enjoyed the show, Brad.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Brad, I have a question, and I would be happy if you can help a friend. He had a B1, B2 visa. He was here, and he went to Mexico through land border. So on his way back, I think the officer didn't stamp his passport when he was coming back. In less than 5 minutes, he went back to the border and told the officer that you guys didn't stamp my passport when I was coming back in. And they had a little misunderstanding at the border. He got arrested. Brad has been there since 2015. They took him to El Paso in Texas. He's been in El Paso since 2015 up to date. So
Where's he from?
gave him. He's from Nigeria.
Okay. All right. Couple things. Okay. Here's rule number one: don't fight with people at the border. They let you in the country. Be thankful and get the hell out of there. And if there's a problem, go see an immigration lawyer. Okay. Number two, what he tried to do, which you can't do, is come here on a visitor's visa for 4, 5, 6 months. Say, you know what? I'm from Nigeria. I'm from another country. I don't feel like traveling back to Nigeria. I'm going to go to Mexico for the weekend. Come back, and then they're going to give me another 6 months. That's not going to happen. They're not fools. So that's why they didn't give you the other 6 months. So they only gave him another 2 weeks or whatever it is, which is why the fight happened, which is why they said, wait a second, maybe you're coming here to live, you're coming here to work, whatever it is. They changed their mind and they arrested him. Now, he probably is from Nigeria, and the reason he's sitting in jail is one of two. Either one, he hasn't signed himself out because they can't prove he's a Nigerian, but more likely he filed for asylum.
Yes. He filed for asylum after he stayed I think 2 years plus in the jail.
Right. All right. So he needs a whole consultation. And now I wish you called me 2 months ago and not today, because now the Supreme Court said he doesn't have a right to, bond or anything, or he doesn't even have a right to have his custody determined. So, but he certainly needs help. So hold on 1 second, okay? All right. And by the way, I didn't mean to cut David off, but we have a lot to get to. I know Kimmy Kim Kim texted me earlier and says she has a ton of calls, and we only have a ton of questions on Facebook, and we only have about 12 minutes to go. So let's go to Kimmy Kim Kim, and let's see if we can get our social media going. We don't call it rapid fire anymore.
We don't.
We don't. We don't like the analogy of rapid fire or guns anymore on the show.
Okay, I can appreciate that.
Right. So we don't call it rapid fire anymore.
Good.
It's a new woker social media check-in.
It's just social media check-in.
I love it.
Fast social media check-in, but we don't make any gun analogies
Changing
anymore.
the vernacular.
Correct.
Amazing. Great.
Correct. All right. What's going on?
We've got Beth, who's got quite an issue. Beth is the youngest of 4 siblings, and she's the only one with children, and she's a single mom. Her entire family has been in the U.S. since the early 80s. Her grandfather was a member of the U.S. Navy and got her mom, so got his kids in 82 and 85. Beth's sisters got in 2001, but she was left in the Philippines because she was married and had 3 kids at the time. Her sister petitioned for her in 2007, and there is still no movement on it.
Where's Mom? How come Mom never filed for her?
Mom is still around, but Mom has some very intense health problems right now, and that's actually why Beth is in such a rush to get here. Father already passed away in December of 2016, unfortunately. At this point, she's really just hoping for anything, a tourist visa or anything at all where she can just come visit her family.
Yeah, she's going to have a big problem because she has already showed an intent and she has a long wait still, being a brother-sister in the Philippines. The waits from the Philippines are a very long time. I think we're not going to solve her problem on this show. She would need a consultation. And she's not going to get a visitor's visa, but let's see what options she does have to try to get here quicker than waiting, which will be probably another 10 years on the brother-sister case.
Wow.
Joan wants to know, if you don't have your papers and you live in an apartment where your landlord knows that you are out of status, can they take you to court? And do you think that ICE is going to pick you up because the landlord doesn't know that they have papers and they're trying to increase the rent on them, and they're saying, if you don't pay more rent, we'll just take you to court and tell everyone you're undocumented? What is Joan's recourse?
Well, the landlord's entitled to take you to court to kick you out. It's called housing court. You don't pay the rent, you're out, period. Okay? You have a lease. Once your lease is up, the landlord could charge whatever he or she wants, unless there's some sort of, you're in some sort of, rent stabilized situation. Thank you very much for I got tongue tied for a second. So in short of being in a rent stabilized situation, the landlord can charge whatever you want, and you don't pay it. You don't get to live in somebody else's house for free, or you don't get to live in somebody else's home or apartment for what you think is a fair rent. It's the landlord decides. And you go to housing court, he'll kick you out. And if, he can always call immigration. Whether immigration will listen to him, who knows? The courts could always call immigration. Whether courts will listen to him, who knows? Certainly, it's unlikely that, somebody calls up and says, hey, the guy's not paying his rent, immigration, go pick him up. Come grab him. I doubt that would happen, but anything's possible today. Okay? If you're undocumented, you don't make waves. Pay the rent or move out. Find a place that's more suitable for you.
I agree with that. I agree. Don't leave it to chance.
Yeah.
Be in control of your situation.
Right.
Control the narrative.
Regina is wondering, a friend wants to know if her citizen husband, who just filed for her, can also file for the 4 stepchildren back home. Even though she hasn't done her interview yet, can he go ahead and file for his new stepchildren?
Absolutely. And should do so.
Cheryl would like to know, can you ask Brad how far they've reached with the I-485 for 2016?
They should have gotten through already. If you haven't, call me.
Tina says, do you think it's a good idea to travel with an advanced parole?
Yes, as long as it's a validly issued and you have a pending case, why not? And you don't have any criminal records that would bar you from re-entering, obviously. But having advanced parole is still good.
Barbara just said a comment on Facebook that's a great point. Anything is possible with this orange man.
Anything
So
is
don't take
possible with the
any
orange
risks.
man. That is correct. That
We're
is
not talking
correct.
about the Syracuse basketball
Right,
team,
we're
are we?
not, right. He has,
In fact,
right,
we are
it's,
not.
It's amazing. Donald Trump came up with an entire new racial background. I mean, there were white people, brown people, black people. We've never seen in the history of the world orange people. He started a whole
It
new
is the
race.
first orange president.
Yes,
We
he
don't
started
talk
a whole
about
new
that
race.
enough. He is making history.
Yeah, he is making history. All right, it's like a whole new color of people. Okay, what else do we have?
Christopher wants to know, at what age can a child file for his or her parents?
21.
Nina says, I'd really appreciate it if you could answer these two questions.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Jamaica. I've got 2 kids, and I recently married a U.S. citizen. How long is the process going to be to file for both me and my kids?
A little over a year. It's going to be.
And we currently have.
Oh, go ahead.
And we currently have a visiting visa. Can we go ahead and travel to the States while the filing is being processed?
No, because you've already shown an intent to get a green card. You always run into risk. Like, there's plenty of people who have a pending green card application who travel to the United States and have no problem whatsoever. And then they call up and say, Brad, you told me not to travel, and here I am. And my answer is, there is a, well done, bravo, I'm glad you did it.
Bravo,
Okay.
you beat the system.
You beat the system. But, for every person out there who travels on a visitor's visa when you have a pending application for a green card, you are giving yourself up to the discretion of an immigration officer at an airport who can always turn to you and say, you have a pending application for a green card, ma'am? Yes. Well, then, you know what? You've shown an intent to get your green card. We're going to take your visitor's visa away and deport you here at the airport. They always have the right to do that. It's their discretion. And you have no rights to see a judge or anything else. And now you got deported at the airport. You lost your visitor's visa. And now you have a whole host of problems trying to return because you need waivers for deportation, plus the embarrassment and the stress and the anxiety of literally getting deported at an airport. So to me, it's not worth the risk. Come with a clean case. You'll be here in a year. Your husband loves you. Let him travel to Jamaica. It's not such a bad country. Go visit in Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Barbara is wondering, if I married the father of my child, but his name is not on her birth certificate, is that going to be a problem when I go to put in my papers?
No. It's not a problem for you. If he wants to file for the child, he would have to prove it's his child. But it's not a problem for you, no.
Wendy is wondering, Brad, what year are they currently at if you're filing for your married children in Jamaica?
December 1st, 2005. Which again, we go back to so much for chain migration, waiting 12, 15 years to be joined by your family.
It's terrible.
Right. There's no such thing as chain migration. It's a myth.
Wendy said she's waiting patiently.
Yes.
Go, Wendy. Andreen wants to know, my spouse got an illegal visa about 15 years ago. He traveled and was turned back at the airport. He went to the embassy in 2014 and got denied.
I can tell you that.
How can he obtain a U.S. visa?
He can't. He got deported and made a misrepresentation. He's barred for life. Now, you could always try to file a waiver, but, waivers are hard to come by for a non-immigrant visa. What's the purpose of you coming here? You have to show it's in the interest of the United States to allow you to come, to allow you to come in after you've been ordered deported for misrepresentation. So there's no interest. The United States has no interest in you coming to be a tourist. We have enough tourists here. The United States has no interest in you coming to see your family. You want to know why? Your family has an interest, but that's not the entire United States of America. Now, I've seen situations, for example, where there was like somebody won the Grammy Award or was up for a Grammy Award. It was our client, I can't say who it is, and was barred for a drug offense. We got him a waiver because it's in the U.S. interest to come and, have the artist come for the Grammy Awards. Okay?
Right.
But it's going to be something like that.
Oh, wow. So you have to be nominated for a Grammy.
You don't have to be nominated for a Grammy, but it has to be like, some serious things.
It's got to further the public interest.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. I'm trying to be like, trying to break it down. Like you got to be coming for something serious.
Yeah.
No, that's a
Right.
great point.
Or as David Moreno says, in the public interest, which is the legal.
In the public interest.
Yes.
David Moreno has to come in with that lawyer talk,
Yes,
you know?
lawyer talk. Right.
So Raul from India is wondering when his case is going to be ready. He filed for his brother and sister-in-law in January of 2006.
They're up to June 22nd, 2004. So you got about 2 to 3 years to go.
We've got Marco, who actually has a follow-up from from the question that he asked for his friend earlier. His friend had run out of the J1 visa. Boss won't sponsor him. What can he do? We said, get another job.
Sounds like pretty solid advice. I liked it. I still like that advice.
Great.
I gave that advice an hour ago, and I'm sticking to it. I still
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right. I still like the advice 1 hour later. I'm not taking it back.
You're nothing if not consistent, Brad.
Correct.
Marco's friend is having a problem now that he's since then fallen out of status, and so
it's much harder to get a job falling out of status.
Yeah.
Okay, but there are people who will sponsor people out of status if they really gotta love you.
You got to be good at what you do.
Exactly.
Give them a reason to want to sponsor you.
To sponsor you. And by the way, they don't have to hire you illegally. Job sponsorship is a promise to hire when you get a green card. So nobody's asking anybody to hire anybody illegally. They're just going to wait a little bit for your services.
To get you to start.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So Don wants to know, if someone is barred from the U.S., can they get a Canadian visa to visit that country?
Why were they barred from the United States? If they were barred just because they got deported from the United States, yeah, because that's just a civil offense. If they're barred because they have like 71 drug convictions, well, guess what? I think Canada has some laws that say people with drugs can't enter Canada also. Right. Yeah. So it all depends. I mean, I'm going from one extreme to the other, obviously, but
Canada's borders are getting tight these days.
Are they?
They are.
I don't even know. How do you know this?
Because I read, Brad.
You read.
Reading is fundamental.
David Moreno reads.
He reads real good, Brad.
Yes. Put that down on the bottom. Get rid of social media, ask Brad. Put down David Moreno reads, ask David.
Marcia says, can you travel on an I-512 card, advanced parole card?
Yes. We answer that all the time. Of course you can.
Of course you can, Marcia. That's the only way you should travel.
Correct. Or with a green card or your U.S. passport.
Right. Jeff has a very serious question. Jeff Bosey, our friend Jeff Bosey, very serious question. If we actually host this show fan gathering party in the spring, is Anna Banana going to be there?
Maybe. I don't know.
Finally, we've got Shartia, who says, I'm a green card holder. Why do you have to bring in a tax account transcripts for the last 5 years to the citizenship interview at Federal Plaza?
Because that you have to show that if you worked, you filed your taxes for 5 years. And to be for good moral character.
Perfection. And that wraps up social media rapid fire. We did have the results of our Olympic mascot situation.
And
by landslide, the winner was Sam. He is way cuter.
Sam won? What was the vote?
Oh, it was unanimous. It was like 15-0.
15-0. Put Sam's picture up. There he is.
Yeah,
Sam for Olympic mascot 2020. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all tomorrow. David Moreno, fantastic job.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Great job filling in. Thank you. 1-800-529-5465. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Take care.
So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800 LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465.
What are you doing? Did you guys have the other Skype channel on by chance? Is that how you? That's. I could I just heard it fading, and I looked at the trees, and I'm like, it sounds like there's a million people outside of the control room having a sit down. Yeah, right when you started, and then the first time, and then right when you started the first time, and then at the very end again. So I was like, why? No, but I can never really hear Jill. I can never really hear the other Skype callers.
Shut up.
It goes through Facebook. It doesn't go through Skype. I always have an issue hearing the other Skype callers.